Josh, my man.
What's up?
We're doing this live.
We're back at it. The HWMIY.
The HINU. Oh, the acronym for our podcast.
Yet? Have we made? Have we? HWMIY.
Peace. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it home, baby.
Everyone, welcome back to the Have We Made It Yet podcast. It's the podcast where two creatives come together and talk about the process of making it. I almost forgot what we did because it's been so long. But as you can see, we've got a different setup. For the first time in 3 years, I, one of your co-hosts, Josh Yang,
The actor portion of this podcast, Lucas Ng.
exactly, the actor portion, and I'm the comedian portion. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, we're finally together in one location. Best buds again after 3 years of, just COVID and stuff, and it's been a wild ride because the last time we were able to do a podcast together, it was like the month before, right before COVID, right before lockdown, and we were able to put those out. And little did we know, it would be 3 years later.
Yep.
And we're just older, and we're more torn down by COVID. But no, I guess society's built itself back up.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if anything, more traumatized, more gray hairs, but like,
Yeah.
we've got it through, man.
Yeah, we're wait, were you 30 already when we started?
Yeah. I was, for all our listeners, I'm 35. So, when COVID started, I was 32 already. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for me, when COVID started, I was 27. So now I'm in my 30s.
Young buck.
And wow, it's all this process of making it. The last time we did an episode was like earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And now I just happen to be back in Vancouver, and Lucas has moved to Vancouver, so
Yeah.
we're able to finally get the band back together.
2-piece, baby.
2-piece band.
What are we? Salt and vinegar?
Yeah. So, and then we got rid of Pepper. Pepper was...
That's true.
We killed off Pepper, replaced him with vinegar.
I was thinking Milli Vanilli.
Oh, Milli Vanilli, right.
Uh-huh.
I don't know that reference.
Oh.
I guess I'm not... I should know. I'm not familiar with it.
They got their Grammy taken away from them because they lip synced.
Oh, well then, fuck. Milli Vanilli. Villi Manilli. But that's besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
We're back together finally.
Yes, sir.
And I think this is more or less like an update podcast because it's like we've been gone for a while.
Yeah.
What's happened?
Tons.
I guess, Lucas, I should ask you the question.
Oh, yeah.
Because I forgot that was what we did.
How many minutes are we in before you even ask that question?
Before we even ask that question, it's just 4 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good time.
Yeah. So, Lucas, have you made it yet?
No, I have not yet, Josh. And I'm so happy this mic is not cutting on right now, so I'm just going to knock on as much wood as possible.
Yeah.
No, I have not made it yet in the sense that we originally intended for this podcast to happen. Whereas like I would at least have a line in a movie or a TV show, and I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm making it. I'm a rock star, baby. But we're going to get into it later on this show, but so much life has happened between our last episode with Cardi until now. And, my whole concept of making it has completely shifted. I have a sole focus now because I now have a wedding to pay for. And so I proposed my long-term girlfriend, and she said yes, and now we're planning a wedding now.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Oh, he's my co-MC for my wedding.
Exactly. This co-hosting job also extends into personal personal endeavors, and I'm more than happy to be a co-host in your beautiful, in your amazing. Oh wow, I can't, that actually came off pretty well. That actually sounded pretty intense.
Got me there.
But yeah, it's no, it's great. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Forward to it. It's like yeah, we just talked about it. It's like a destination wedding, and there's a lot of people are going to the wedding.
Yeah, yeah, more than we expected. So, I mean, of course, my acting goals are still there, but of course, we're gonna get to it into the show. But I recently asked my agent to not submit me for anything right now because, guys, health, and I hate to sound so cliche, but health is literally fucking wealth. And the moment that that's taken away from you, you really don't um, realize just how much we actually take our bodies for granted. So I had a lot of healing to do in the interim, but I'm happy I'm still here. I literally fought for my life these past 6 months, so I'm happy I'm here. Um, before we move on any further, Mr. Joshua Young, have you made it yet?
I've not made it yet. I've, if anything, I've strayed further from the path a little bit. I think I've there's some things I've been doing that have been better. I earlier in the year I started a monthly comedy show called Neon Nights Comedy and Karaoke at Yo Viet Eatery in
Mhm.
Toronto.
Oh, they changed their name?
No, it's okay. So it's spelled DZO, but it's pronounced Yo.
Oh.
Vietnamese for cheers. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly. It's a bit of an education process because it's like every time we do the show, we kind of off the top just emphasize that it's pronounced yo. But yeah, no. So far, it's been a interesting experience. Our first show was March. First two shows were like 50 plus tickets. Next two shows were like 40 tickets each around. Next two show was like 30 tickets, and then these last couple shows were like 15 to 20 tickets. So granted, it's been like a steady decline in the audience, but it's been a learning process. And if anything, as part of like doing comedy as well,
Yeah.
creating a show of your own helps a lot with getting you involved with the community more. You get to make more connections, put out spots, and also kind of have that engagement on a different level. And I'm happy that we're able to at least like be able to pay all of the performers as well,
Yo, that's huge.
and make sure that yeah, that it's a good enough experience for them. Of course, there's like growing pains and stuff, but yeah, it's been a lot of work definitely, and at least it still keeps me engaged though because especially with my current job, I've changed roles to more of a sales job as well.
Dude, to sales, man. We're both in sales now.
As you can tell, I'm a very a salesy type of guy.
More passion, more giddy, more energy.
Footwork. But yeah, so that's been a bit of a learning curve, and then so I haven't been doing as much comedy outside of the monthly show, but at least having that monthly show helps keep me engaged. And but yeah, I think overall though, it's definitely there's still lulls in motivation in keeping to it and sticking to it. I think what I learned seeing more comedy shows during Just for Laughs, seeing a couple great headliners like Ronnie Chang, Andrew Schultz came to Toronto, Rami Youssef, and then I saw Nimesh Patel as well. So it was like 4 straight weeks of headliners on the weekend. And I realized like the more I watch of these professional comedians, the more inspiration I gather from them just through the engaging and like watching process.
Awesome.
So that's something I think in the future I got to do. But yeah, lots of movement, lots of traveling. I was in Europe for a month and a half.
That's right.
In Europe, I was actually able to jump on a show as well in Berlin. So I was able to jump on an English show. It was at the top of this like Greek cafe slash restaurant, and it was surrounded by parking lot and parking garage, which was interesting. It was odd, but everybody was situated on the roof. I went up there just to watch an English show, and what ended up happening was first half of the show was really funny. I just went up to the host of the show and then just asked him, "It's like, hey, I do comedy in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Mind if I just jump on for like 5-6 minutes?" And he was really gracious and just really open to it. It's like, yeah, for sure, jump on. And so I started off the second half of the show, and it was like I went. People in the audience could like visibly see me as being somebody from the middle center of the show, and then the next thing you know, you see me just at the beginning of the show. So it was like, or at the beginning of the second half, just doing comedy, and I think I pleasantly surprised the
Hell yeah.
material, which was nice. So I can say I did comedy in Berlin for one brief show. Actually, you know what? Later that night, the producers were like, they have another show somewhere else in Berlin, and they offered me a spot as well. And I was excited to go do that too. But then, literally half an hour before it was about to start, or 15 minutes before, they messaged me and was like, "Yeah, there's not enough people here. We're gonna have to cancel the show."
Oh yeah.
2 people showed up, but yeah. Either way, it was an experience of being able to do it. And
Did you do your one night stand bit? Did you do your one night stand bit?
I always do my one night stand.
Classic.
It's been 3 years. I should stop doing the one night stand bit, but
Dude, it just shows that it's like evergreen, man. Across cultures, countries.
but then see, it's like if you have jokes that work across all cultures and all spectrums, then it's also sometimes not as great a thing as well, because then your joke is a little too basic.
I mean, like slapstick comedy trends for a reason because it's understandable.
Yeah, it was interesting to see some of those jokes in Berlin because the audience was technically mostly foreigners or non-German. So it was like people outside, but they were at an English show.
Oh, cool.
Could understand English,
Right.
maybe not necessarily grasp all the full nuances. So when I did the one night stand joke, it was like a quarter or half of the audience laughed, and then like 3 seconds later, the other half started laughing because
Was there a translator?
no, it was just they realized they were like thinking it through. It was like, why is it funny? It's like,
Oh.
maybe some other people explain. So there was like a little bit of a delay, but a lot of the other jokes still worked.
Double entendres, baby.
Yeah, double entendre. Yeah, but yeah, overall, did that, and then also, I'm back in town for this week for my mom's birthday. Happy 60th birthday to my mom. And but I'm actually going on a trip to South America next week, whenever this comes out. I don't know, but I'm leaving mid-November. I'll be in South America, Buenos Aires, for about a month and a half, and then Brazil for another month and a half, and then I'll be back here in Vancouver again. Hopefully, we'll be able to do another episode when I'm back in Vancouver
No, definitely.
in the spring next year.
If you hold your gear and have internet access,
We can also do shows there.
yeah, man.
We can get the band back together again internationally.
Bro, this is what COVID has taught us, man. With Wi-Fi, anything is possible.
Yes.
I wonder how many like people who actually like basketball watch this show. I know Charles does.
Yeah.
Charles, thank you, Charles.
Number one fan, if anything, our only consistent listener. But we should change the name of the podcast to "Have We Made It Yet, Charles?" That's what we should call it, because we're really just at this point asking Charles if we've made it.
Yeah, and if we have made it in Charles's eyes, the show's over.
That's it.
So, I don't know. It's up to you whether you want to continue the show or not, Charles.
We're the strongest critics of ourselves, but at the same time, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to make sure that Charles is happy. And if Charles in charge of our podcast, then we're moving on up. I don't know where I'm coming with these references. They're a mixture of.
I thought you were going to continue with your alliteration, like Charles in charge is going to really. I was hoping for another C.
Is going to be really catching our creativity.
Hey,
Yes.
love you, Charles.
But yeah, okay. So I feel like I went through like a really quick, just rapid fire of what happened. A lot of other stuff happened, but I do feel like, are you willing to share though, like in terms of your health?
Oh yeah.
I feel like when you said, I was going through like this life, it was life and death, like touch and go, but you didn't actually say what happened.
That's what you call leaving crumbs, baby.
And now we're coming back to it, because it's like I'm thinking as a listener, as Charles. Well, Charles knows what happened, but
Yeah, Charles was there.
Charles was there.
Charles was there.
there. So but a random listener an interest in understanding what happened, is like, would you be willing to share like kind of what happened?
Oh yeah, dude, it's on my Instagram, and I'm a public profile on Instagram, so it's already out there. No, no, just this year has been one of the most. I gotta say, 2023 has been the hardest year so far of my life. Um, just coming from an extreme job that like brought me to the point of exhaustion and depression. And it's kind of funny because actually no, I shouldn't say that because then I don't want to lambaste the company or anything like that. Um, but to the point where I switched out fully of film production, which is usually my 9 to 5 job, in addition to acting. And I always like held pride in it. And then that, you know, I am not just a creative person on film. I'm also like a productive person that can look at spreadsheets. I'm not just an actor. I'm a film person, you know. But then I realized I did not want to do that anymore, and plus, I'm just not good at it. I'm not good at it enough. And you know, just sometimes you just realize your place and get out of the way and make room for the people who actually do like it and who are better at that than you. So I realized that, and then I just I wanted more of a stabilized job where I can account for hours. So now I know we alluded to this earlier, but I'm in Pacific. No, actually, I shouldn't say the company name. But now I'm a account manager doing sales, and it's offered me incredible timing of things that I do not take for granted. So long story short, I was in Austin, Texas for a bachelor trip, which Charles was there again amongst our other bros. He was also invited too, but you know, you were busy and other shit.
Oh no, I was in Europe.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
That's why. But wait, nobody saw that, right? But yeah, no, I was in Europe, so that's why I couldn't make it to this one. But we're gonna do another one,
We're gonna do another one.
one in Scottsdale. So
Maybe another podcast there. Um, but on the last night of our Austin trip in Texas again, I was in the States in Texas. We rode on some e-scooters, and we ran across like a really rough patch, and I just took the unfortunate spill on that rough patch. And I remember the scooter went straight, and I went to the side, and we were still along like a street that had cars on it, and also behind me too. So my first instinct is to like get on the damn sidewalk because anywhere else, and I would have gotten ran over by a car. So I put my left foot down, and I'm like, oh, okay, good. I'm still coherent. Okay, now I'm gonna put my right foot down on the floor. At that moment, I just literally asked, where the hell is my right foot? Then I turn around and I see my foot and whole leg actually bent like your mic right now. And at that moment, I just collapsed back and I'm like, I am in Texas. I am in a foreign country. Do I have travel insurance? Please say I have travel insurance. Please say I do. And luckily for me, my new job, which I had to acquire because of burnout from my previous industry, offered me travel insurance immediately. So luckily, yeah, I broke my right leg, every major bone below the knee, be it ankle, tibia, fibula, everything. And I had emergency surgery in Texas. Um, Put me in a private room and everything like that. I had to be stabilized and everything like that when I was in the hospital. But luckily for me, these past 6 months have just been constant healing, staying with my family, making my community especially tighter and more limited because I could only focus on myself and rehabilitating because I couldn't walk. And everything in life had to take a step back because without being able to be mobile, without losing like a big portion of my mobility, life was just drastically different. And so, I mean, we just went out for dinner, right, Josh? And I was walking uphill, and even just a month ago, I couldn't do that. So, like, things have really changed, and I'm still rehabbing. I'm still relearning how to walk right now. But I'll be better by the wedding, and that's my goal. I'll
I mean, you're already doing great. I think it was definitely a shock when I heard it, because that's a wild story to have that happen. But yeah, having the insurance in the States also,
Oh yeah.
it's amazing how when you travel. Oh boy. Okay, let's do a quick cut. We'll be right back after these messages. If not, what I can say is it's been a crazy last couple of months, and you know what? We're happy we're still here. Life gives you lots of turns, ups and downs, and that's all part of making it. And sometimes you gotta take a step back, focus on yourself. And I'm happy you're still here with us, Lucas. We're still gonna continue making it, and yeah, we'll see you guys when we see you.
Sounds good. Kumquat out.
Good enough. Good enough. Yeah, spiked enough. All right. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. That was what a long. That was a big of a spike. Okay, let's try. We should try that one more time. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back.
To the same episode of Have We Made It Yet? Yes. So you just gotta. Part of making it is you just gotta work with what you got, and we're working our best with what we got in terms of equipment. This is as you can see, we're really DIYing it with our usual microphones and our laptops recording, and we got a camera now for the first time again in 3 years. So we're keeping it going, and we had to have a little bit of an intermission, just a tiny bit, but we're now back into the action. And I think with the remaining time we have here, lots changed
Mm-hmm.
in the last half year, and with this change and growth, well, there should be reflection and an adjustment to making it. So I know, Lucas, you already talked a bit about how it's changed for you. So let's take this last little bit to describe how it's changed for us making it, and like what are goals now.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, here I'm gonna throw it to you first, Josh, just because you've had such a international palette now in terms of different audiences that you've spoken with, and also just life experiences that have helped you grow and just to see the world in a different light and everything like that. Um, what, if anything, has making it changed from your perspective based on your new experiences that you've had this year?
Definitely, I think when it comes to seeing how other people, since I've come back actually this year, and I did a few shows. I did meet newer comedians that I hadn't met before. They started pretty recently, like a year or so ago, but they've been hitting it really hard and very consistently. So I think even doing random shows like in Berlin or Mexico City, or coming back and trying to do my own monthly show, there's definitely a growth element of more consistency. I tried hosting a couple times, which was a completely different kind of beast because it's very antithetical to my persona, which is much more chill, laid back. It's a lot more sarcastic turn of phrase, much more written material. Whereas being a host is being a lot more loose, higher energy, more engagement with the crowd, and that's something I got to learn a bit more on. But overall, I think it's like finding the time and consistency to focus and do more sets, write more material. I think trying to be more personable in my material as well. I feel like I've definitely hit a bit of a plateau in materials, in material. So I think timing wise, when I come back to Toronto from Toronto, sorry, I sound like such a Vancouverite, from Toronto. When I go back to Toronto, that I be more consistent. And I think next year, after doing all this big traveling, I think that'll be a big goal of mine. Be more consistent, and then also, I know I keep saying this, but I really think I gotta dig a little deeper on the sleep podcast, and hopefully turn that eventually into passive income, or something that can grow into something where that can take me away from more of a 9 to 5, and something more focused on the creative arts. And yeah, I think those are some of those goals there. I'm making it at this point probably would mean really having the podcast, because this entire time, this whole year, I haven't actually posted very many new episodes,
Mm-hmm.
but I checked it again periodically, and it's still steadily growing in followers every week. Like 2 or 3 just new on Spotify will follow the podcast. Overall listens are actually up month to month, but I haven't been adding anything new. So the content itself is engaging enough where more people are finding it and they're still listening to it. So there's potential there, and it's just being able to find the consistency to tap into it.
Give the sleepers what they want, bro.
I mean, everybody wants to sleep with Josh. I keep saying it. The more people that sleep with Josh, the better. So we need to get more people out there to sleep with Josh. Not enough people sleep with Josh.
I was about to tell you this thing, but like I'm gonna actually not say it anymore. I'll say it off camera.
Okay.
It's about your. It's gonna like boost your ego too. Actually, should I right now? Anyways, one of my like really, 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 really close friends.
Hmm. What did your really, really close friend do?
No, no. They were like, I couldn't sleep, so I know about your friend's podcast. Put it on, dude. Lights out, and literally, they said 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Wow. That doesn't usually happen to me. I usually last longer. But no, that's great to hear. I should really be marketing to a target audience.
Oh, for sure.
It should be people with insomnia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what I should
Oh,
do.
for sure.
Wow. Okay, cool. More motivation, more passion, more energy, more footwork. You just got to be more engaged and commit. And that's what I would say in terms of that. Let's go on to you because, I have had my experiences, but you, man, you've had one of the few things that, can really take you out of just your regular path in life because a major injury, it's something, especially if it's your first one, it really just changes your whole sense of self, your relationship to your body, your feeling of the future. So yeah, give us an idea of how that's changed because you've already mentioned a little bit, but like now how it's affected your making it goal.
Absolutely, man. I one of the major things that I'd really try to articulate, even when I was thinking about this filming of this episode last night, was like when I was literally bedridden and I couldn't move, much less, of course, act or anything like that, or even think straight because the pain was so exhausting. If there's anything that I realized, it's pain is exhausting and numbness is so heavy, and that's what I realized. Um, so with that, all I could really focus was myself, and regardless of what I can do with an able body, all I can get to, all I can really strive for was to get my body back to its able status before this injury. Um, and now that I am able to walk, not yet run, but able to walk, I'm giving a bit more thought onto like, what about your art? What about your acting? What about all that other stuff that you had tried to do pre-injury? Um, to be honest, I've almost tempted with the thought of, Lucas, are you now a fraud? Because you're not suffering for your art anymore. I know. It's a really insidious thing, but I'm always like trying to understand because prior to this, I'm like, you're not an actor if you're not willing to put yourself through monetary loss and you're not willing to go through poverty. It's always this like a suffering fetish. But in the same token, though, right now I have a classic 9 to 5 job in a classic 9 to 5 industry. Does that, and I am more financially stable now. As a result, though, does that make me less of an artist or less of an actor? Am I a fraud? And it's something that I am trying to work towards, trying to digest that and learning how to navigate through those thoughts. But I heard this one thing while I was bedridden, and it's, so long as I can fight another day, so long as I can still at least read a script, be it all the other many things in life that are thrown at you, so long as one more day you are in that fight, you are already making it, man. It's we've heard a lot of episodes within our podcast about like people saying making it is not a destination, but it's a process. And that hasn't really stuck out as a point to me until now, in that it's in the everyday, in the every second, in the minutia of every day, that no matter how you are in life, so long as you still are putting in the work um, every day, you are still that thing that you claim you are. Because life is kind of crazy in that way that you don't know what will happen next. But so long as you're willing to fight another day, you are still it. So I'm trying to hold on to that thought because, yes, I have so many other stuff to deal with. I have a wedding to plan. Um, I have bills to figure out with this. I now have a car,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
I have car payments now.
Yeah.
Like there are so many things other than acting, but as so long as I still have a script that I have over there, I still have some shoots coming up, then I'm still in the fight, man.
Still in the game.
Yeah,
Still in the game.
and it doesn't have to be a one-liner in a movie, but still in the game.
Yeah. That's great, man. Honestly, that's such a really well put together um, perspective because it feels really earned. Because even though you say it's like our image of is like, oh, you got to be a poor struggling artist, actor, comedian even so, like definitely there's an element where you feel like when you start, you're not going to get good for another like 10 to 15 years. And that first 10 years is just eating a lot of shit. And you see a lot of the bigger comedians, it's kind of like they have to you almost gain their respect more. Yeah, if you're funny, but also that they know you've also been going through the same kind of struggles because that is like, for lack of a better word, just the nature of the art form where it doesn't pay you a lot of money. You know, you're just up there. You got to do so many reps to get good at anything or even get you to a place where you can start making moves or start growing yourself. But in that first period, I mean, it's like whether it's an actor waiting tables for years or a comedian also just doing open mics for years. There's an element of that where it comes with time. The younger you can do it, the better because you can make more mistakes. But at the same time, there also is no ending timeline until you take yourself out of the fight.
Exactly.
The game because there's so many different careers that started later as well, right? A lot of people didn't have their big break when they were younger. It happened in their 30s, it happened in their 40s, and then that's what we see is like they're successful, but you don't always see the ups and downs of it. Like what is it? Harrison Ford was a carpenter until he was 30, but I'm pretty sure I heard he was also just doing modeling gigs too as well up until then.
Dude.
But even with all these like different stories, it's like still Oprah as well.
Yeah, classic. Yeah.
Was fired at a young age from one radio station that didn't hold her back.
On that same post, I also saw Donald Trump wasn't president, so he was in his mid 70s, and I'm like, dude, don't lump him into all that, man.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, if you have a dream, let Donald Trump still be a form of inspiration. That if you have a dream, to an almost delirious, delusional, and diabolical way.
Great alliteration.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. You can fall ass backwards into the presidency of the United States, and that's just how it goes. Sometimes you can try your hardest, and the other guy who randomly is born into riches and is just an asshole can still find a way to make it. We managed to do an episode every week for the first year, which is wild. 50 episodes. Wild. And then we, pulled back a bit once every 2 weeks. And now it's kind of like, when we are able to do it, we're going to do it. And sourcing. And then we're coming back. And yeah, man. I mean, it's life. It's life. At this point, it's life. But hey, if you're listening to our story and you want to continue following our story, good luck. Because we'll share it when we're able to, and we'll go through the ups and downs for you. What do we even do for tags? Oh, right. You can follow me at Josh Young Comedy across all social media, and of course, listen to the Sleep with Josh podcast. Please fuck me. But I don't know why Sleep with Josh. Sleep with Josh podcast. No, I'm not. I'm not horny. I am not at all. Anyways, I don't know why I'm being like this. Anyways, Sleep with Josh podcast. Josh Young comedy. Depending on when you hear this, if you want to go see the show that I'm producing, Neon Nights Comedy and Karaoke, we do comedy show, and then we also do live karaoke afterwards at Yo Viet Eatery in Toronto. Yeah, look that up. And Lucas, what are your handles?
Everyone can find me across social media at Lucas John Ing. Like last name is just two letters, two consonants, no vowels. N for Nancy, G for golf. And if you like what you see and hear here, you can follow us at HWMIY podcast or the Have We Made It Yet podcast on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think what we need to do though, I think we also need to do like a freeze frame smile, because when I make the screenshots later, a little behind the scenes, I always scroll through the episode of the recording and trying to find situations where we're all smiling, and then I realized maybe I should just ask everybody who's actually in it to smile and do a pose, so then I can use it for the for the we'll just do the oh my god. Okay, we'll do this. Oh my god, I don't know how that's gonna look. All right, but anyways, hey everybody, thanks for sticking with us, and we'll see you next time.